All righty. Welcome, guys, to Ecom Moguls, presented by Six Figure Ecom Academy, brought to you today on Freaky Friday. This is episode number 1, our first show. We are super excited. My name is Matthew Byers, together with our host, Mr. Joshua Zitting.
What's going on, guys?
Joshua Zitting, the Zen Master, what I call him. Man, so much knowledge, guys. What we're going to be going over today is how to build a successful Shopify website in 2018. Keyword 2018. Okay, I see so many techniques out there and people going out and training, and it's stuff from 2016 and 2017, and it's just not working. So what we're going to be going through every single week. So we're going to be doing this every Friday, and we'll probably add an extra day. But for now, it'll be every Friday. But what we're going to do is we're going to come to you just straight with facts. Like, we're going to be real, raw, uncut. Okay, no one's paying us to do anything. No one's paying us to advertise their stuff. Okay, we want you to just have success. So we're going to teach you current marketing tips that work and that are actually helping us to build massive sites that are actually profitable. Okay, so Joshua Zitting's got tons of knowledge, guys. He built a site from scratch to where it was doing $0 to $150,000 a month in sales. And I just started a site a few months back, and now we're doing about $30,000 to $40,000 a month in sales currently on that one site. We brought it from literally 0 to nothing in a few months, or from nothing to 30,000 in just a few months. So
yeah, the biggest thing too, you guys, is that, we in being in e-commerce for as long as we have over the last 2.5 years, there's a lot of things that have changed in the e-commerce world. Obviously, for those of you that have been doing e-commerce, some of you may be super new to it. For those of you that were fortunate enough to get in on e-commerce, especially with Facebook advertising back in 2015, 2016. Things were a lot easier back then to make insane money. In fact, one of my Shopify stores, within the first 5 months of being in business, we were essentially doing $1 million, literally from brand new store to Matt, can you change that back to full screen?
I think it is full screen.
No, it's showing your just the Ecom Moguls slide. Either way, so essentially, you guys, what we want to bring to you is we've been on our Instagram asking a lot of questions, trying to find out where people are at in the world of e-commerce, and trying to figure out what kind of questions you guys have, because we've seen a lot of transition that took place with Facebook, obviously, and a lot of things have changed with their advertising platform. But it's also not what we specifically use for e-commerce. So we use a lot of different advertising platforms for our businesses now. But we wanted to cover kind of some questions that you guys had for us, and basically touch on those questions today, and hopefully bring you guys just some pure value. So
just real quick, like our intentions with this show, because what we see a lot right now is we see a lot of gurus out there that are going out there and they're training their students old stuff, 2016, 2017. And here's what why I think it is. I think it's just because they don't want to compete with everyone. They don't want their students to build these successful stores so that they're competing. We don't care. We could care less. So we're going to be giving you guys everything that we do literally today that help us to build these massive sites. Okay. And so all these questions that we're going to go over is literally us that we use and that we apply, and that's helping us to succeed and make the type of money that we are.
Yeah. One of our biggest frustrations is, I know I've taken tons and tons of different e-commerce courses, you guys, before I became a coach and before I started actually teaching this stuff. One of my biggest frustrations that I had was every single course that I was purchasing was promoting old information that I either knew, or there are a lot of gurus out there, you guys, that have had the same course for literally 3 years, and they have not changed the information on the course. They're still promoting same old tactics. And yeah, they're bringing in a ton of new students and stuff like that. but they're teaching them old stuff. And so I think that was one thing that Matt and I really discussed for what could we bring and how could we bring value that is current in the 2018 marketplace, and how we're having to shift into these different advertising platforms. And like Matt said, that's the one thing that we want to do with this show, is to essentially bring you guys valuable information that's current and up to date on a weekly basis, because we understand the frustration of being in e-commerce and being around a lot of information online that, quite frankly, is old and shitty information. So hopefully we can kind of cover some of that stuff with you guys today. And Matt, that is still not showing our screen, dude. So
yeah, well, you're the host now, so you gotta change it, because I ain't good with technology. So there's a lot of hope for you guys, okay, with what we're doing now in Shopify and how successful we are with that, and we don't even know technology. So that should give you guys hope, man. If we could do it, I'm telling you, anyone can do it for sure. So we'll be going over not only today, but every single week we're going to be giving you guys up-to-date information. Now I see your screen, Josh. I see every tab that's open right now.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just trying to figure out how to stop the screen share. So if you guys, this is the beautiful thing. There we go. About technology is that, Matt and I aren't that great with webinar platforms. However, we understand e-commerce. So, so let's cover some of these questions that you guys had for us today, and we can kind of jump into that information. So I was on Instagram and I had posted on there asking you guys to post some questions for us. So let's kind of cover that. And so let's see, we've got, all right. So the first question, Matt, is that someone said, I see that I've been running Facebook ads for a while now, and I see now that on my Facebook ads, my reach used to be about 500 for the same cost. Now I'm only reaching 120 people. Is Facebook throttling my account?
The answer is no, they're not throttling your account. Okay. What they're doing, they're doing that to everyone. And there's a reason why we don't really advertise on Facebook anymore. Here's what we use Facebook for. We use Facebook for retargeting. People that go to our website, okay, and they don't end up purchasing, we retarget them through Facebook. I think that's the best way to use it. Another way I use Facebook now is through engagement. See, this is where people will reach out to you. They'll ask questions about your products. They'll say, hey, I didn't get my order, or hey, what's up with this? Or hey, so that's where you can engage with your potential customers and your customers and build a brand and build, loyal customers that way. But as far as going out there and actually gaining and attracting new customers with Facebook, it's getting much, much harder. It's much more expensive. You really got to have a large budget. I know that I used to pay $5, and I know a lot of people used to start out with $5 ads. Now they get you maybe like 50 viewers a day. Or before, it would reach like 500 or 600. So you can get a lot more sales and you can build a bigger list. But nowadays, Facebook's not allowing you to do that. There's a reason why. It's because there are so many people that have come into the space, okay, where there was maybe, I don't know, I'm throwing a random number out there, 1,000 stores back in 2016. Now there's probably 100, 200,000 stores, and everyone's following the same old practices, right? So Facebook's got to do something so that they don't compromise the actual platform, okay? They don't want to make it a crap advertising platform. They want to, make it a great platform for people. And if there's millions of advertisements out there, people advertising, then they're not going to have a good user experience with Facebook. So
yeah, and also realize, you guys, in 2018, at the beginning of 2018, Facebook made some changes to their algorithm that essentially they do not show organic posts from businesses as much as they used to, period. That's all there is to it. So the content that, now, did that affect advertising as much? Not necessarily, but what did happen was, because businesses were getting less organic traffic, more businesses have actually started to advertise on the platform. Now, again, one thing that you do need to realize is that Facebook is going to favor your company if you're spending tons of money, right? So back in 2016, early 2017, you guys, within 6 months, I had spent $500,000 on Facebook advertising, and ultimately made a ton of money off of that $500,000 ad spend. But the point of it is that Facebook was calling me every day. Like, they were saying, how can we help you? What can we do for you? Like, and so they were favoring our company because of the amount of money that we were spending with them. So, however, today in 2018, Facebook advertising definitely is different. You guys are going to see, for those of you that are new, when you first start running your Facebook ads, you'll see now that there's a learning phase that your ad has to go through. It still went through that before, but that is actually affecting today a little differently than how it was back in 2016. And you really have to have enough budget to allow an ad to run for a while and to get those first 50 sales while your ad is in that learning phase before Facebook's pixel actually starts to get warm and optimized for your product. So it's not that Facebook advertising isn't beneficial, you guys. It absolutely is. However, we've found that, you know, advertising on these other platforms, utilizing Google, utilizing Pinterest and some other things, and then having your retargeting properly set up, like Matt said, for Facebook, you get a much better return on your ad spend through Facebook retargeting that way. So,
and Josh, we're reading from our Instagram feed questions that were asked of you guys, our students, and people that would message into our YouTube or Instagram feed. So that's where we're answering our questions from.
Yeah, it's at Six Figure Ecom Academy. If you guys want to follow us on Instagram, definitely check that out. We'll put a link to it in the description too. So, speaking of which, the next question on there was, what are your guys' thoughts on Pinterest versus Google versus Facebook as an advertising platform?
Okay, we'll let you go first, Josh.
All right. So, I mean, pretty simple. I think that they're very different in different ways. So understanding that people go to different platforms for different reasons. Okay. So ultimately with Pinterest, you guys, Pinterest is kind of, it's set up like a virtual goal board. So men and women both utilize this platform pretty heavily. In fact, I think it's a great place to advertise men's products because the men that are on there are actually interested in products and stuff. So I've seen a lot of companies, beard companies, that do extremely well on Pinterest as a platform. Now, one beautiful thing about Pinterest as an advertising platform, you can advertise direct to specific keywords. So that's actually a really, really awesome thing. Same thing with Google, you guys. So Google, the thing that's great about like Pinterest and Google is you actually have the ability to put your message directly in front of somebody who is already in the mindset of either looking for products that they already like. So for instance, on Pinterest, most people that save their pins and pin stuff to their board are interested in those products, and they may not purchase them right away, but when they go back and look back through their boards over time, they do actually end up making purchases. So Pinterest might have a little bit longer span when it comes to actually taking advantage of your ad spend on Pinterest. Google's a little bit more like upfront. So like if people go to Google and actually use the platform to search for certain products, you have the ability to place a product directly in front of the user and you only pay for clicks. So ultimately, Google is great because you're putting it in front of people that are already in the purchasing mindset. Now versus Facebook, Facebook is a great advertising platform, depending on what you're advertising as well. So if you're talking e-commerce and products and stuff like that, while Facebook does work very well, you got to understand that with Facebook, you're putting a message in front of somebody that's on there to be social. So it's not that they're in the purchasing mindset necessarily. You're having to find ways to interrupt that person's patterns. So that's the big difference with Facebook is you really have to focus on like great imagery, kind of like Instagram in a sense. And Instagram, you guys, I kind of put Instagram and Facebook in the same category, although I actually think Instagram today is almost a better advertising platform now than Facebook for for products per se, especially if you can really take advantage of the imagery and actually connect with people already in your niche, and build basically a relationship with influencers that can help you promote your product. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I think with Pinterest, it is a great platform. It's just that it does take a little while to actually start seeing themselves with that. People start pinning, repinning, but over the course of a month or 2 months, it really starts to add up, and you start to see sales coming in maybe like a month from before, so just see it as all the sales you're getting are from like the previous month. So it does add up on top of itself. And I like Pinterest because you can start to really get organic sales and reach organically. Google's great, like you said, because people are typing in something, they see your ad and they buy. So you could really target people that like that through Google. I love Google. It's probably my favorite platform. And then Facebook, yeah, you really got to interrupt people's patterns. So you got to have something that really stands out on Facebook. You got to put something together that's great. I like videos. So if you can put together a good video, then you're going to succeed a lot more, I think, on Facebook. But you want to utilize all the platforms. You want to be everywhere, omnipresent. So
yeah, and I definitely think that with the two platforms like Pinterest and Google, Matt, and maybe you agree, is that I think you do have to be a little bit more careful with these two platforms. Like, you have to optimize for keywords. You have to kind of get in and continually, consistently, and not like you don't have to do this with every platform, because you should be optimizing your ads regularly. But I feel like with Pinterest, like, you really kind of have to watch where your ad money is going in. And same thing with Google. You've got to be constantly like getting rid of keywords and stuff like that they're pulling in that you need to get rid of, so your ad spend doesn't just kind of sneak up on you. Because I definitely think with Google and Pinterest, especially, if you're not careful, you can definitely spend a ton of money. I almost think that like it for brand new people that really want to like utilize Pinterest in another way, you could almost hire a virtual assistant, like get one out of the Philippines or whatever for $3 an hour to actually go connect on these group boards, these large group boards that constantly post stuff, and make connections that way, and be constantly posting on the platform to where your stuff is saved on larger boards and you get a lot of free traffic that way. Because ultimately that's kind of the game with Pinterest is getting those repins and those saves constantly. So, and I figured out how to get us side by side. So
okay.
we finally
Nice.
I knew, yeah. So let's see. Next question. Does free plus shipping still work? That's a big question right there. Matt, you start.
I think heck to the no, it doesn't. Doesn't work. I tried it.
We have different opinions on this. So
Josh had more success with it than I did. When I started out, I did free plus shipping. Here's what I experienced. I had way more people. I was spending a lot of money. I'd spend $5 a day. Okay. I didn't make that much money at all. And yeah, they say you're not going to make that much money. It's to build a list. I did build a list, but the people that I was marketing to never bought anything that I would market because they just wanted free stuff. So I ended up getting like 10. My best day, I got 12 sales in one day. But what ended up happening was I kept getting all these emails from people. Where's my product? Hey, it's broken. And so I had to do these returns and send all these emails and do customer service. And I made no money. And I was like, okay, I'll make money later on marketing and building an email list. And finally, after 6 months, 7 months, and I had an email list of, 1,000 people. And I sent out a newsletter and I got 0 sales or 1 sale. And then Josh was like, hey, maybe you should sell retail. And I was like, really? That works? And next thing I know, my goodness, it started when people buy retail. Oh my gosh, like I saw the light. And
within 60 days, we took Matt's store from essentially
losing money,
negative money. Like, it was definitely a couple grand negative for a while. Within 60 days, that store is doing $30,000 a month. Like, and that's at a 50% profit margin. So like it's pretty cool to see that, like, and these are all things that we teach in our course, you guys, is the methods that we use to do these kind of things. And one of them being that, I told Matt to take the products and mark them up, and essentially charge way more for them than he thinks was even possible to charge for them. And people started buying the stuff. So my theory again on free plus shipping is I have a love-hate relationship with it. So I definitely think that it's great for building a list quickly. I think that you're never going to make a lot of money doing free plus shipping unless you have it set up in such a way that people come in for one item and they literally are leaving with 5 because they see that, like, somehow they don't just, or can't just have the one product. They've got to have all 5 in the set. That's pretty much the only way that type of scenario is going to be profitable. And the other thing that Matt hit on, you guys, that's really important is what kind of business do you want to build? Ultimately, the biggest thing about Six Figure Ecom Academy that we teach is building brands and building long-term sustainable real brands where your products are branded. We do believe in drop shipping. However, obviously I believe in building actual brand name companies. So that's the biggest difference is with like the free plus shipping and drop shipping model. Again, like Matt said, you are promoting really cheap products that typically sometimes the quality is not great. Now, if you're doing like print on demand and you can find products that are decent, that you can get out the door for a decent price and people are buying the upsells, it's a little bit different of a story. That's why, I'm not a huge fan of free products personally. I do know that it works for some people, though. It has worked for me in the past. I think the days of it working super well on Facebook are kind of over. Personally, that's my personal opinion. So don't take my word for it, but that's just what I think. So,
yeah, it's people just associate it free items with cheap, being cheap. So low quality. So, it's all about perceived image. So, more expensive is better, I think, for the most part. It just depends.
Let's see. Next question. Drop shipping versus. So someone asked, what are your thoughts on a drop shipping business versus Amazon? And actually, Matt and I know Amazon pretty well. So that is a good question. Like, what kind of business do you want to get into?
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's kind of the question, you guys, is like, two things. I think drop shipping is an amazing business model to start out, you guys. If you're low on funds, right? You can start the business for little to no money. In fact, we have ways in the course that show you essentially how to create an entire business off of just the Shopify fee. That's $29 a month. There are ways of doing that. And then you've got to slowly build that business. Like if you're on a bootstrap budget, there are ways to do that and to create products and to market them for free on social media until you have enough money to advertise and start to slowly build your business. That's going to take a lot more time. But ultimately, I would say this to any of our students, like start with drop shipping, but once you can afford to buy inventory, absolutely find a way to get on Amazon. What are your thoughts on that, Matt?
100%, because I couldn't start with Amazon initially because I didn't have the funds. You got to pay upfront. You got to hope it sells. They say, a lot of people say you got to get at least 100 items. If it costs $5, you're spending $500 to $1,000 up front. You got to pay for shipping. You got to send it into the warehouse. Amazon takes a lot of your profits. The good thing is, though, it's fast shipping, 2 to 3 days. So you start with drop shipping, you pay nothing up front except for the advertising and getting Shopify up. So it's a lot more, affordable. So you start making some profits, start making some money. What you do is you got to find the items that sell. Once you find the items that sell, you then ship it into Amazon, because now you got something that works, something that sells, and it's not risky. Because you already know it's selling. You have the system set up. You send it into Amazon. Now you can start getting your item to people in 2 to 3 days or 4 days. People are going to love that. And it's going to be branded to you. That's the great thing about Amazon is you got your packaging, you got your inserts. So it really helps to build your brand image.
And again, you guys, you hear us talking about brand all the time. Like ultimately, when you have a brand, a branded company, take Yeti for instance, like the cooler company, or they've got tumblers and stuff. Like ultimately, that company is an Alibaba product that is branded. They package it, they ship it to a warehouse, and they started growing their company that way, and then they got into coolers and everything else. So ultimately, that's the key kind of with Amazon. And one little tip that I would tell any of our students. Yeah. So Life Flask, you guys, is actually one of our companies. And it does really well. We have a water bottle company and a couple other products on Amazon. But ultimately, one thing that is a quick tip for you in getting into Amazon, if you can find a product that you know has an audience to it that will sell well, and it doesn't have a ton of variance, and this is kind of the key, is that not having a ton of options, because ultimately when you do get into buying inventory and shipping it to like Amazon FBA, like you have to buy a certain amount of product to have it shipped to that warehouse. So if you've got a product that's got 5 different sizes and 10 different colors, all of a sudden your minimum order quantity is 500, you've got to times 500 by 15 now. And it's going to cost you a lot more money to do that. If you've got the funds to do it, that's great. But ultimately, I would definitely say try to stick to like one variant items that don't have like size options and stuff like that, and you're going to have a lot better of a situation for yourself.
Yeah. So. And bottom line, they're both good. They both have their advantages. They both have their disadvantages. So just do both. Just you want to get into it. You want to be omnipresent, like I said.
Again, drop shipping, you guys, and print on demand. You don't have to have inventory. You don't have to source the product. You don't have to ship the product. Like, ultimately, that business model is still such a beautiful business model in 2018. And regardless of what you guys see online and all the YouTubes and people saying Shopify's dead, Facebook's dead, like, you guys, this stuff has been around forever. So it's not dead. Yeah. There's more information out there, but ultimately, and it's going to take work for sure. I mean, every business is work. I think that's the biggest misconception, is people getting into any type of company or business and thinking that you can sit on your ass and do nothing and you're going to make $1 million. Like, that's just not the case. Matt and I work pretty much 7 days a week, but it's not like we don't have a life, you guys. We work from our computer. Like, I worked when I was in Italy. Matt was just on vacation as well. We're able to travel, and as long as we have computer and internet, we can run our business. So that's where, to me, that's freedom. And that's where we're not stuck in traffic going to a corporate office every single morning. And to me, I'd rather work 7 days a week, but be able to, go to the gym at 10 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock and work around my schedule, because that is the freedom. But to think that you're going to build a business and not have to work, that's just silly.
Yeah. It's not GTL, it's GSL, Gym, Shopify, Laundry.
Right. Gym, Shopify, Laundry, Shopify.
There you go.
Shopify. So awesome. Let's see. What is our next question? Why should I use Shopify versus another platform like BigCommerce, Lemon Stand, or Squarespace?
Because it's simple. That's why. It's super simple, and it helps you to build an e-commerce website without having any specialized knowledge in programming. And it's just a platform that gets you up and running it's a very cost-effective way. It gets you up and running. You could easily add products to it. There's lots of apps made for it where you could easily add products to it, and you could start making profit in, 30 days or, 60 days in relatively short amount of time, as opposed to anything else.
Yeah. I mean, I seriously laugh at you guys when people say Shopify's dead. Like, look at their stocks. Like, go on E-Trade and look at their stocks. I own stock in the company, so hopefully it keeps going up. But ultimately, you guys, the stock is like doubled in a year. And here's the thing about the company: if you really understand the people backing it, and I think that's ultimately the most important thing. Like, these people love e-commerce, and so when talking about these other platforms, they're not bad platforms, you guys. They're a lot of them are starting to be super user friendly. What I've found is, back before this, I was in search engine optimization and helping companies rank on Google, and ultimately building WordPress sites. And I think I built like 100 websites one year. And ultimately, WordPress is a very not difficult platform, but it's way more difficult than like Shopify. You guys is so easy for someone to get into and like start a business pretty much where you can have it up and running within 24 to 72 hours. And I know that because I've set up a brand new Shopify store from scratch and had products selling on it within 48 hours. So I think that's really it, is they've really kind of thought of everything as far as the platform goes, like the apps that you have that you can plug into it that help you increase sales, the themes, you know, that are already pre-built for you, and really just being able to drag and drop stuff. And I just think it's a awesome platform. So
the platform is amazing. Like if I can compare the Shopify platform to Amazon's platform is like $19.99. Shopify is 20. I mean, they thought of everything. You could create discount codes on the fly. Yeah. It structures all your sales. Like you could see everything.
Yeah.
It's and adding stuff and adding promotion. I mean, it's just the easiest thing I've ever
seen. Amazon, it's time to step up the game.
They really got to step their game up. It's for advertisers and building the page.
Amazon's definitely a little bit more difficult getting your products on there, and it's you know, but it's such a massive company, you guys, and like once you have something running at the level that they have, it's not that simple to necessarily just change stuff, you know. So I think Shopify really kind of just smashed it out the box, and that's, you know, it's definitely the most user-friendly platform that I've ever worked on. So
for sure.
Are there ways of getting free traffic versus paid advertising? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you guys, there's lots and lots of ways to get free traffic to your store. And ultimately, you don't have to be doing paid advertising. However, paid advertising, this is a game of eyeballs. So think of it like this. The more people that see your brand and the more that they continue to see it, the more like brand recognition that you get. So advertising is just a faster way to get people to see your brand. But ultimately, yeah, posting on social media, on all the different social media platforms, talking to bloggers, working with influencers. You know, it doesn't necessarily cost a ton of money to work with influencers, you guys. A lot of times you could even just send them a free product and they'll post for you. That does obviously cost the cost of product, but social media is really one of the best and easiest ways to grow your following. And I think Matt would agree with me that running some sort of contest or giveaway is probably one of the fastest ways to grow your social media. And ultimately, if you're running a contest, you don't have to pay that money up front, like if you're doing a giveaway. So you're kind of building that following and getting them interested in your brand before you end up having to pay out a gift card or free product or whatever it be. And I think that that's a great way to build your brand initially, just by doing little giveaways and getting people involved.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to do both. If you want to get free organic traffic on Google, you got to do paid advertising, because by doing that, Google sees that and you're going to get more traffic and people are going to be going to your site and they're going to be spending time on your site. And so by getting those visitors, you're going to show up more organically. And so just do both, you know, learn how to create articles or hire someone to create articles for you. So you have a blog and you're getting, you know, over time, you're going to have people, you're going to grow your domain authority. You're going to have people start to find these blogs. Also, YouTube videos are great. If you start recording YouTube videos, eventually you're going to have some keywords you're going to start to rank for. You'll get some organic traffic, but then you also want to, you know, to advertise on YouTube and, you know, on Pinterest, you got to, you know, repin stuff and create, you know, free graphics and stuff like that. But then you also should advertise too. And you just do all of it. You just got to test. You just got to try everything every single day. Here's what you got to ask yourself. And here's what I ask myself. Are we doing something new? What new can I do today? What can I try? You got to try it. You always got to be ahead of the curve and you got to be innovative. Okay. You can't be looking at what everyone else is doing, what they did last year. that's where people fall into the trap and they never gain any traction that way.
Yeah. And are you building, again, going back to it, are you building a brand? Like ultimately, Matt nailed it on the head, you guys. So many people don't even know that. Well, not that they don't know it, but they don't even implement the fact that Shopify has a built-in blog. Like you can write articles and then post them on social media. And you guys, this tool right here is everything that you need to build a business right now in 2018. You can literally build your entire company from your cell phone. And that to me is ridiculous. Look at the leaders. What do the leaders in the online space, what are they doing? Gary Vee, Alex Becker, Ty Lopez, all of these guys that are literally just killing the game. What is it that they do? Every single day they put out new content, because over time, what happens is that content collectively stacks on itself. And again, it's all about eyeballs, and the more effort that you put into getting your brand out there, getting recognized, like building a relationship with your customers, like that is so being missed in 2018 right now. Like most people that run a Shopify store couldn't give a shit if their customers care about the product or not. And I think that you're going to quickly see a change in that. Like that's going to have to change at some point if you want your business to survive. And so ultimately, like we've had to adjust. We've had products show up to customers and they absolutely hated the product, and we had to refund them or had to even give them free product or find ways of making our company better. And I think that that's something that is completely missed on by so many people nowadays. Like these people that are buying your product are paying your bills. Treat them well, right? It's like, it's such a simple concept, but it's missed by so many people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Very true.
Let's see. That's pretty much it for our questions, Matt, that we've had so far. Is there any other topics that you can think of that you want to talk about today? Do we have anybody on the live stream asking us questions? Let's check. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's pretty much.
You got to just get out there and try new stuff. How many of you guys are utilizing Snapchat? How many of you guys are utilizing Instagram stories, Facebook stories? How many people are creating YouTube videos? How many of you guys are, on Google? Like you really got to get out there and create blogs, create articles, be unique, come up with new stuff, try a whole bunch of new stuff, because it is going to compound it on top of itself. I see the biggest mistake, like you said, is people think they're going to come in and start making a ton of money right away and get rich quick. This is not get rich quick. This is get rich slow, but it's better than get rich never. Okay. You're just got to be consistent. And over time, the compound effect kicks in and it all adds up. And next thing you know, you got yourself an amazing brand and people that you can be proud about, and people love it, and people will order and they'll continue to order. Now it is simple, but there's so many moving parts. And so that's why we're going to be coming to you every single Friday and kind of bringing it all together. We're going to go through unique topics every single week that we're using to build our stores now that work. Absolutely. So
awesome. Well,
it's just about learning it and applying it. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to wait, till next Friday, and then next Friday, and then the next Friday, and then I'm going to study. No, you got to actually study it and then apply it, study it, practice it, study it, practice it, and then go try and teach it to maybe someone that you know, because that's how you learn.
One of the fastest way to learn, you guys, is to teach someone else what you're doing. Honestly, it makes you so much better at everything. And, it challenges you. It challenges you to look at things from a different perspective, and also like to make sure that you're giving quality information to other people. So I do think I agree with Matt on that 100%. Like if you learn something, don't be afraid to teach someone it. And that way you've also got someone to bounce stuff off of, and it becomes fun,
So everyone, smash that like button. Okay, go down there, smash the like button, follow us on Instagram, Six Figure Ecom Academy. You guys could submit your questions to us. We'll be doing Q&As a lot. So your questions that come in, we'll definitely be able to answer them for you. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Smash the like button. If you have any comments, anything, put a comment down there. We'll definitely answer them and read them as well.
That's right. You got Matty B and Jay-Z.
Right. Matty Ice, AKA Matty B.
San Diego to Florida, coast to coast, like butter
Matty
and
Ice. All right. So that's it for this week's edition of Ecom Moguls. Tune in next Friday. We'll probably come to you live at noon o'clock PST.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
I am Matthew Byers. Joshua's eating. See you guys later.